on my T4.
Right. Hello everyone. Welcome back. I am on my way back to Fort William. Oh, look at that view. Can you see that? Look at that view. That's mega. As I was saying, I'm on my way back to Fort William for the first time in 2 months. Crazy. Been up doing work, and now I'm back, or on my way back, to go and do some work on Rose, most importantly, but also Chelsea's van, and to see Chelsea in the ocean, of course. It's been a mega week on that T4 though. Ooh, what a rusty van. It's kind of a restoration more than just a welding job. So everything had to be done top notch. Apologies for the shaky camera. The audio is best on this and the stabilization is best on the other camera. But yeah, anyway, into the core part of this video. This video will hopefully go out tomorrow. Second gear. 2 days ago, the UK announced, now I don't know about Europe because I know our 3.5 ton license, excuse Rose, her noise is terrible, need to sort it. I think that originally came from Europe being in the European Union. So I don't know what Europe have done, but the UK has now introduced a 4.25 ton limit on a normal category B license. Well, hey, great news you might say. No, only for zero emissions vehicles. I mean, what does that just say? That just says agenda all over it, no? Like, I've taken in a lot of your comments from the last video that I made, like a little ranty talk to camera video, and I have been making some notes, and I've got a few follow-up videos to make, and I just haven't got around to making them yet because I've been trying to get the West Coast series out, and I haven't got time to actually edit them, and, well, film them first and then edit them, the editing, and I haven't had time to actually film them because I've just been working. Lovely Scottish Rose. So, but they are coming. I just want to kind of make them kind of educational as well to somewhat of a degree, and at least know what I'm talking about, because some of you had some good points with these, some of you made some points that kind of are true but I think are government agenda true, and they're kind of dodging the point, but we'll get to all of that in some future videos. However, I just wanted to come across this because it's kind of up-to-date news, and it's like 2 days ago, because Chelsea messaged me and was like, oh, we could drive up to 4.5 ton. I looked into category B license change, and the change is that it's only for electric and hydrogen vehicles. And I've not got anything against electric powered vehicles, right? And I'll get into this in my other video. There's nothing against electric powered vehicles. It's the EV agenda that they're trying to push when it's not quite there yet. So I suppose the reason they've done this is exactly for electric vans, because an electric van, you know, the cars weigh up to 2.5 ton, possibly more sometimes, nearly 3 ton, and the vans definitely weigh pretty much 3 ton. That gives you like 500 kilos payload, which is nothing. So I can see why they're doing it, but why would you not just, you know, like the trailer license, they've upped that to 3.5 ton because nobody was buying caravans because they couldn't tow them. And now, why don't they just create a 4.2 ton license that we can now all drive? Why is it EVs? That just, like, it's no different. They're saying it's safer. It's not. People who drive modern vehicles, EVs and petrol and diesel, like anything with all of the you can't drive. I'm sorry. Try drive this. I challenge you, because I know for a fact it will be a challenge, because it's got no power for a start. The steering's all over the shop because it's a steering box. Learn to drive an old vehicle and you can actually drive. All of this modern stuff, no. So I don't see how they're making this seem safer for EVs. Like, how, if you've got a zero emission vehicle, does that make it okay to drive 4.2 tons? But if you've got a normal diesel van, no, you can't do that. No, it's not safe enough. I mean, yes, it doesn't have ABS. This is less safe, but like, early 2000s vehicles are great. Another point made by a very good friend and follower was Life Beyond Bricks. John from Life Beyond Bricks, and he said about the Euro emission standards being not for climate change, and that's a video to come. And he's right there. And you know, I agree. Like the early 2000s common rail, I'm not against common rail, but just against the EV agenda. Like, have an electric vehicle that you drive to work in and that you charge overnight because it's dirt cheap. And that you don't have to be third gear going 30 miles an hour up a hill that doesn't even have a percent sign on. Look at that sunset over there. Bonnie, Scotland. Yeah, I've had a shower, in case you can't tell, because I was filled with welding dust and rust and everything to do with the underside of a T4. I just don't get it, because I was really excited about that, but I always have to look into these things. She saw it on someone's story, and I just went, there's a catch. I just felt it. I really want to be able to drive bigger vehicles, so I thought this was something in the right direction. But no, unless you've got a fucking EV. Someone explain the logic there. Why would they do that other than it's for their agenda? Because Phil, I think, made a good point. Running Rose on veg oil, which she's only probably got about 10% left in her because I've topped it up with diesel now. But running her with veg oil, you're technically growing a plant which is soaking in CO2, and then you're processing that, so you're growing fuel, then you're processing that into oil and burning it, and it's a constant cycle. This, running on veg oil, which is not at the moment, granted, but I am getting to that, will be fully sustainable. You know, you can grow fuel. Like, I wonder why they're not doing that anymore. Like, veg oil used to be under £1 a litre. Now it's like £1.40 or £1.30. It's just not worth putting in your tank. You might as well put diesel in, because you do tend to get slightly better MPG with it. So what's the point? But it's not expensive to make. They just up the price for the sake of it. So like, I'm going to try and not make this video too long because I want to drive, so I could just chat for the whole 2 hours I want to drive. So we'll try not to make a 2 hour long video, but it's kind of spot on. I mean, other than obviously you've got the process of converting it, the transportation, yada 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 yada, it's certainly more green than drilling the oil. So why don't, I mean, I know we've got biodiesel, but that still uses chemicals to make it thinner for common rail diesels. Why can't you just stick veg oil in a fucking old van? And why can't this then be classed as, you know, net zero? Because net zero is impossible to get to. Fact. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on another point, which was the fact that one of the comments was EVs get less, I catch fire less often than internal combustion engines, ICE cars. And I looked that up, and all the statistics I can find, they're considerably lower. But I kind of don't believe that. Again, I highly recommend you go and watch Jeff Buys Cars, because his channel is just spot on. He hits all the right points. So something on his channel that he's always covering, and he doesn't even cover all of them because there's so many, is your EVs getting shipped over on massive diesel cargo ships because they can't be EV powered. Well, electric battery powered, not EV. You know what I mean? You can't have an electric ship. They say like the cargo ship is probably the most polluting mode of transport. Air travel is considerably more efficient. Anyway, ignoring that point, moving on. Sorry, my brain is not on the sparkiest point. I'm so tired after working. I've done like 12 hours work today, and now I'm driving 2 hours. Cargo ships are having to be super careful about where they put EVs and how many EVs are on a ship, because sometimes, quite often, not more often than not, but quite often, they are catching fire completely randomly whilst not even moving, which is baffling. And a lot of the time when there's a car park of fires, the media are so quick to jump on to say, oh, it wasn't caused by an EV, but we don't know what it was caused by, but it wasn't an EV. Well, if you don't know what it was caused by, how do you know it wasn't caused by an EV? It's like they're trying to not push a bad name on EVs. And also, all of you lot saying that EVs are so good, like, I'm not denying the points of like they don't catch fire more often because the statistics supposedly say that, but where does statistics come from? As they say, 99% of statistics are wrong. So, where do the statistics come from? But also, they're not selling in main dealerships, as well as still petrol and diesel cars are. And also, the depreciation values are immense. Even if the batteries are lasting 10-15 years and still at like 80% capacity, like, you know, when you look on your phone, apparently they're doing quite well. I don't know, I can't comment. Apparently, I did look into it. The EV heads really do think they're really good. But why are they depreciating so much? You know, you could buy like a 2-year-old EV that's got like 10,000 miles on and is like half the price of what it was new, if not even less. Like, they're like 20 grand. So, like, if you want to buy an EV, do not buy a new one. Buy a used one because they're ridiculously cheap and they're pretty much still new. So why is that? If they're so good, why? Like, no. And yeah, I shouldn't rant too much because I don't know really what videos I want to make about EVs, other than the fact that they're not good for the climate at the moment. Yeah, I think I missed returning because I was chatting again. Typical me. Heading down to Aviemore. Not where I want to be going. If you buy a new petrol or diesel versus a new EV, and you are technically charging it off solar power, I think they kind of apparently do even themselves out in the carbon cycle. But I've got a whole thing about carbon coming up. But still, I think you're just better off buying used and maintaining it. Like in countries like Portugal, because my auntie lives there and has done for years, it's cheaper to buy a used vehicle out there and repair it than it is to buy new. Whereas in this country, it's cheaper to scrap it and buy a new one. It's a throwaway society. And how is that good for the environment? You've got a load of materials here that are good and you're just throwing them away. Well, that's not good enough. We've got to buy better for the environment. But this is working fine. Like, if you're going to buy a newish vehicle, like, and you've got your own solar setup and you're going to charge it and yada yada yada, then fine, I could probably see it working. But otherwise, I don't know, I'm not convinced. But Phil also said that he would have an EV if it was simplified, and I also agree. Like, that's another thing why I believe they're so part of the agenda, is because all vehicles, not just EVs, petrol and diesel as well, have to be remote stopped. If I can find an article picture, again, just watch Jeff I's cars, because I'm pretty much just repeating what he said, because it's spot on. They're sneaking all this stuff into the background without you knowing. Like, having an electric vehicle that is basic and is just gonna work, you know, it's got a battery, you know, it says the percentage, and that's it. You've got no big tablet screen in the middle there and all of this other internet connectivity and yada yada, the stuff that you do not need. Yeah, I can kind of see it working. But again, at the moment, the battery technology is not there for vans. So why are they trying to push it? It's not there for long distance vehicles. They're pushing 250 miles range, 220 miles range, 200 miles range, and then it doesn't even get that. On an old diesel, they would say, oh, it gets, you know, 300 miles to the tank, and then if you were lucky, you might get 350, you know? It's not that way around with EVs. They're lying to you. They're giving you the opposite. They're being so optimistic in the best of conditions that we've tested upon optimal conditions. You might get this range, but realistically, you'll probably get 50 miles less than that. Then you've got range anxiety. Then you've got sitting there charging for hours on end. I could just stick 20 quid in the tank here. Or if all the petrol stations were freaking out because there was no fuel, I just pop to Aldi or Lidl or wherever and grab some veg oil, because I can. I have a versatile vehicle that's actually good. Anyway, videos to come on climate change scam, and also vehicles and what I think about are the best range and what I actually think are good vehicles, not like Rose that just get 20 mpg and aren't the best, but are super simple and reliable, but which in my opinion makes it the best. But you know, I understand some people like comfort and fuel efficiency and refinedness, and that's why I'll go into it. Anyway, 20 minutes in, I'll probably cut this down a little bit, but thank you very much for watching. I just had to get that mind-boggling, why would they fucking release 4.2 tons on your normal category B license, but only for EV? Someone on in the comments of the article that I read was like, it's soon going to be an essay when you get pulled over. Well, this vehicle powered can drive up to this many tons, whereas this powered vehicle can only drive up to this many tons. It is going to literally be an essay, and this is coming out to people who already have their licenses, so some people aren't going to realise what the full extent is, and it's just a bit of a mess, and definitely a workaround so that they can sell more EVs with probably more range and not have to keep it under 3.5 ton, which again is heavier vehicles on the roads, and they're not paying tax. But get this, they will charge you tax one day. They will charge you tax, because how else are they going to make their money when everyone turns electric? Anyway, I'll shut up now. It's all about control. And I hope you have a blessed week, everyone. I will try and get this out to you, or weekend more like. I will try and get this out to you tomorrow on Friday. And yeah, I hopefully, yes, well, I've added 10 miles onto my journey by making that mistake earlier, so yeah. I'll be back in Fort William 10 miles later than I should have been. Anyway, catch you in the next one. So this is what roadworks in Scotland is like. If there's a proper road closure because they're rebuilding the road or relaying the road, they do it at night and they shut the road. I know you can't see, but there's not much to see other than a van with its lights on, as you can see. So yeah, they shut it and they open it at intervals, and today their intervals are every hour. I got here at 10 past 11, so I've had to wait, well, I'm going to have to wait 50 minutes. I've got 15 minutes left, so yeah. But I've just got myself some snacks, some dates, cup of tea. Make the most of it.